可愛い子には旅をさせろ。
食べ終わったらごちそうさましてちゃんと。
ごちそうさま。
なんでいつもこんなになってるのね。ください。
安藤聡子、39歳です。家族3人です。主人と娘と私で暮らしています。
安藤大です。7歳です。
そうですね。一人でお風呂に入るとか、一人で、歯磨きから洗髪、頭洗ったり。そうですね。大体のことはお留守番以外はほとんどできると思います。娘は、小学校が遠いので電車で通っています。彼女一人で通っています。
一人で歩いて大塚の駅まで行って、山手線で新宿まで行って、新宿から中央線に乗り換えて、中央線で国分寺まで行きます。
そうですね。はい。だって一人だから何でも一人で解決しないと親がいないので、そういうふうに道に迷った時とか電車を間違った時とかも自分で解決する。じゃないと家に帰ってこれないですから。
The Ando family are not unique. You see, Japanese families encourage their children to travel to and from school alone every single day. By Western standards, Japanese culture emphasises independence and self-reliance from an extraordinarily young age. In fact, one of Japan's most loved and longest-running TV shows is called My First Errand, in which young children are given neighbourhood tasks and then secretly filmed as they set about them alone, sometimes even with a younger sibling in tow.
My First Errand is appealing because all Japanese people have had that experience of having their parents entrust them to do some simple job, where they leave the house on their own and they come back to the house on their own. And it's funny.
Jake Adelstein was the first Westerner to work a crime beat in Japan, giving him an insight into Japanese crime and justice no other Westerner has. He, like many foreigners, noticed something different about Japan.
As I was walking to the station, I would see the kids coming from the station with their little backpacks on, walking towards the school, thinking, where are the adults? Like, who's making sure these kids cross the road and, get to school okay? Even my own daughter, when she was about 4 or 5, and she said, I'm going to walk there myself. And she left, and I put down the phone, chased after her. She ran all the way to school, and of course nothing happened to her. And I was like, maybe in Japan that's how it works.
It's Monday morning on Sydney's affluent Lower North Shore, where the Fraser family are starting the day.
My name's Rob Fraser. I'm 47 years of age. There's 3 of us in the family. There's myself, there's Jane, and Emily, who's 10. There's an apple in your bag, Em. Please don't leave the apple in your bag all week. Am I turning lights off again?
Yes, you are.
All right. Tennis rackets in the car.
Have you ever gone to school by yourself?
No, not yet.
Well, if you were in Japan, you would have been going to school for 4 years by yourself already.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
It's cool.
I had a conversation with her the other day about, what would she like to do? Would she like to get the bus to school, and would she like to go on her own? She made it very clear that she would like to do that.
The one thing I'm most looking forward to in high school is walking home from school by myself and having a key and everything.
Right, give me a kiss. And I'll see you later.
In fact, studies show kids want to walk to school. It's their parents that won't or can't.
The evidence is irrefutable that children are not safe to cross roads on their own until they're 10. That's why we're so nervous about children being allowed to walk on their own to school, even though they might be on the footpath the whole way.
But it should be safe. You see, Emily's school, Middle Harbour Public, was the first to trial a 40km/h school zone in Australia.
It's also a cultural reason if you look at the way Australians behave when they reach a school zone. I mean, a lot of people have one thing on their minds, and that's themselves. They don't care less about anyone else.
Group socialization is huge in Japan. Having parents pick up and drop off their kids would be bad for Japan Incorporated, and that's one of the reasons you probably don't see it. It's also one of the other reasons that Japan and Japanese society is set up to make it safe for kids to commute to school, because if parents have to be responsible for that commute, they're going to have to reorganize the entire workforce and the way companies work.
Japan, of course, has an exceptionally low crime rate. They have more than 5 times the population of Australia, but less than 4 times the homicides we have.
I have covered very few cases of children being abducted. Maybe one child death in the 12 years I was a reporter. That's the only one that I can encounter.
But to say kids go alone to school because of a low crime rate would miss more subtle and underlying forces.
Our society suffers from a paranoia about leaving children on their own. I think some of it's probably ill-perceived, but a lot of it is understood.
I don't believe there's any more dangers now, other than traffic, than there were 30, 40 years ago. I think the fact that it's more in the public eye, it's in the press all the time, but I think also the social pressure element of letting go and letting them go and do things at such a young age, I think is actually quite difficult to take on.
Kawaii-ko literally means cute kid, and tabisasero is put them on a trip. So the meaning is, if you love your kids or you want your kids to be smarter, send them to do something, send them on a trip.
かわいい子には旅をさせろ。この意味は過保護になりすぎずにできる範囲のことは一人でやらせる。ある意味ちょっと、突き放すと言いますか、っていう意味じゃないですかね。
Kids are less independent nowadays. It's just the way it is. You have got me thinking about it, and you've got me thinking that maybe I'm being a little bit paranoid.